So, Mom, I noticed that you use a little bit of chicken fat and butter.
You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Newfoundland's Flanker Press will publish Kevin's Bologna Cookbook in the spring or early summer of 2014. It will be available right across the country. In the meantime, the culinary wheels in Kevin's mind are still turning. He's already looking ahead to a second Bologna Cookbook, Fine Dining with Bologna.
Excellent. So now we're talking on the crust. Should we use a pastry crust or say more like a biscuit? But I would have to make it chicken first, right?
Tonight, experts had questions, former employees had concerns, but paying customers say Titan passengers knew the risks.
No aspect of the operation seems safe to me.
It's kind of like jumping out of an airplane. I mean, you don't do it because it's safe, you do it because it's an adrenaline rush.
Shirking safety, cutting corners, more shocking testimony today from the inquiry into the Titan tragedy.
Keep your carbon in the soil!
Climate protesters at MUN calling on government to stop subsidizing the oil and gas industry.
There's a lot of emotions. It's been a week of thinking.
Newfoundland and Labrador officially has its own film school, and it's named after a local film legend.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We begin with the ongoing Coast Guard investigation into the Titan tragedy.
Anyone that felt safe going to depths in the Titan was deluded or delusional. I mean, it was an experimental vessel. It was clear that it was dangerous.
Part of the Titan submersible skids actually got stuck in the Titanic. That's according to Fred Hagen, one of the people who testified at today's inquiry in South Carolina. Hagen is referred to as a mission specialist, a title given to paying customers who participated in OceanGate dives. He likened the journey to jumping out of a plane, saying people did it for the excitement, not because it was safe. Also on the stand today, the head of another deep-sea diving company who says Titan was too risky and too experimental, and a former OceanGate employee who says she was fired for flagging safety concerns.
Anyone should feel free to speak up about a safety issue without fear of retribution. And that is not at all what I saw. I saw theater. I saw some sort of risk matrix that never fully made sense to me.
I think any machine that's going to be carrying human beings into the deep sea has to meet the high bar of certification by an independent third-party classification society. I don't believe that it's negotiable. I don't believe that we should be operating experimental vehicles in the deep sea.
Now, that former employee says she would have taken her safety concerns further, but feared being sued by OceanGate. Now, there's a lot left to unpack from today's testimony. Still to come on Here and Now, Heather Gillis gives us the rundown on what we've learned about the Titan tragedy. Well, despite rain and cold temperatures, about 50 protesters came together for a climate strike on the St. John's Memorial University campus. The protest, organized by Fridays for Future St. John's, called for an end to fossil fuel investments and more green industry jobs.
I'm Sophie Shoemaker, and I'm here because I care about climate change and the future of our province. Students and youth care about climate change, and they want their futures to be secured. Climate change is a really big issue, and as we all know, but unfortunately our government continues to invest in fossil fuels and subsidize fossil fuel companies and companies that have ties to genocide and ecocide. And that's really unfortunate, and that's not what students or young people want.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Climate change has got to go! Hey, hey!
My name is Leah Movell, and I'm here today as part of a group painting a mural in support of the Youth Climate Corps campaign. As young people, we're up against the climate crisis and we're up against ever-increasing costs of living. And I think this campaign would be a nice way to alleviate some of those burdens and help young people feel a sense of empowerment and give us an opportunity to put our skills and passions and talents to work to help our neighbors and our communities and one another face the climate crisis. We're advocating with this campaign specifically for a program that would offer well-paid jobs and good working conditions in climate-related work for young people. So it's a part of that broader agenda we want to see from government of actual mobilization on the climate crisis.
Hi, I'm Jamie Hedrick, and I'm really happy to be here because I think that in order to really make a difference in our community and, fight for the climate protections that we want to see, then we really have to come together and we have to make it a point of community joy for us to work together, for us to talk to each other, and for us to, make our voices heard. It's important for me because I think that it really comes down to my whole childhood. We were really told, we were told by all the adults around us, climate change is a big issue and, you, the younger generation, need to take action, need to make the world a better place before it's too late. And that was something I really took to heart. And now that I'm an adult and I'm trying to do that, I'm noticing that the narrative is kind of shifting again. And now I'm hearing a lot of people my age and older going like, well, the next generation's going to fix it. And if we keep doing this, if we keep saying the next generation is going to fix it, it's never going to happen. I do believe that things can get better, but I think they only get better if we make them better. And we need to all be doing whatever we can in our lives, even if it's only a small thing, to say, this is the future that I want to live in, and I'm going to take a small step in that direction.
Well, AgroPure is recalling some of its Central Dairy's milk products. That recall includes Central Dairy's and Smilk 2% milk with expiry dates from September 20th to September 30th. The company says it's recalling the milk after people complained about it spoiling too early. Now, it also comes after social media posts by people who say they found a black residue on their cartons. AgroPure says there's no health risk and the products can be returned to the place they were purchased. Well, to the ongoing housing crisis now, where people are waiting for more than just a place to live. The Home Again Furniture Bank in St. John says it has a waiting list of nearly 100 people or families. The operation provides free furniture to hundreds of people and families in need every year. Home Again's development director says the situation is worse than it's ever been. She says people are suffering while struggling to get just the basics.
Beds, so mattresses, box springs, bed frames. We have prioritized these items because we recognize that life without any furniture is certainly uncomfortable and difficult. Life without a bed becomes almost unbearable. As you can imagine, yourself or any of the listeners, after one or two poor nights' sleep, it's really difficult to function. It's hard to get up in the morning and go to work. It's hard to be a good parent. It's hard to be good in a relationship. It's difficult to focus and study, go to school, and do all those pieces that are parts of our normal lives.
Patients that need to see us more often.
Well, the province's health department says emergency room wait times have gone down, but at a news conference today, it couldn't provide data showing that's the case. The news conference comes at a time when doctors and nurses are overworked and people are having trouble accessing health care. The province is now 2 years into what it says is a 10-year plan to transform the healthcare system, including fulfilling the 57 recommendations from the Health Accord. Health Minister John Hogan couldn't offer hard evidence today that they've reduced ER wait times.
Just by anecdotal evidence and what people are hearing in the public and what people are saying, those diversions have decreased. So clearly that what is being done through the Health Accord and through the efforts of NLHS and the Department of Health, that those wait times obviously in emergency rooms that weren't even opened are now available, and those diversions aren't happening anymore. So there is some success as well from an emergency department standpoint.
But you don't have the evidence right now
no, as I said, that's anecdotal evidence, and trust me, when people have issues with healthcare, we hear it, and I haven't heard that issue since I became minister.
Film producer Paul Pope had a vision right up to his dying day for Newfoundland and Labrador to have its own film school. That dream is now a reality at the newest College of the North Atlantic campus in St. John's. Today, the school officially opened and named in Paul Pope's honor.
It's absolutely amazing. Since I was a kid, I wanted to direct and make films, and for the longest time, I thought it was kind of a pipe dream. But I graduated high school, and then a year or two later, this school opened up, and it's 20 minutes from where I live, and I gotta say, it is everything and more. It's everything I could have ever asked for.
Action!
There's a lot of emotions. It's been a week of thinking about all the people who have worked so hard to bring this together. And yeah, thinking about Paul, he was such a leader, and he was so quick on his feet. And this was the kind of pie in the sky thing that he would think of.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Elliott. I am a Year 2 film creation student at the Paul L. Pope Center of TV and Film. I'm here to show you around the place today and show you some cool stuff. So here are my friends here. This is James, Luke, and Bart. We are filming a little news reporter segment here with James, just talking about the school. James is our actor and talent today.
There's a bit of a chicken and egg in the industry. If you want to attract the business, you have to have the people who can work in it. So we have had a long tradition, like many industries. We get people, we would mentor them, we would train them up, but they'd have to go back to Toronto, they'd have to go to Halifax to work in the industry.
Well, it's my privilege to formally today open this school. It's my distinct honor, humbled to be able to today announce that it will be called the Paul L. Pope Center for TV and Film. Absolutely amazing.
Hey everyone, so now we are at our theater in the school. So as you can see, we have lots of seats to watch our films. We also do some classes here sometimes. Playing right now is one of our year-end films, Seen by No One, which was directed by our lovely friend, Michaela.
The industry is really blossoming right now. I mean, it's on fire right now with 3 major productions. So it's really important that we started from the ground up to start training these people. And really looking forward to seeing the students that are coming out, and really looking forward to the expansion of the school. This is getting word all over the country already, and I don't think the school will disappoint.
A little champagne shower for the winners, and that's a wrap on Targa Newfoundland 2024. The winners, Team Targa tackles Targa, with Newfoundland Motorhead Racing coming in second, and Husband and Wife Racing taking third spot. In the Targa 2 division, Spud Performance from PEI took the top spot. The final stage took over historic Brigus last night, and despite the rain, the racers were all smiles. And if you've ever been to the community, you've probably noticed the narrow roads. Well, that didn't stop the racers from roaring around last night on closed streets, of course.
We saw it on, was it Speed Vision or something like that? Yeah, and we looked at that and thought, oh my God, we think we could do that. Now that we're here, I'm not so sure that we can, but that was almost 20 years ago, and we always wanted to do it, but kids got in the way, so.
Well, it kind of evolved, but January, February. The idea of coming to Newfoundland was even 2 years ago, but when realities start to set in was in the winter, and then we realized the timing was perfect for Targa.
Is this something you do a lot? Do you race a lot of cars? Do you take part in events like this a lot, Francis?
No, this will be our first event, first time. I can't believe it, but a dream of ours.
What do these 2 kids think about what Mom and Dad are doing in Newfoundland and Labrador?
Do they know?
Well, I sent them a picture and they're like, what? So yeah, they knew that we're doing it, but they didn't know we were driving this. That's for sure.
I wanted to do Bambina 2017, and I have done Targa with a friend before. He was kind of in between life stuff and couldn't commit to it. Honestly, I kind of jokingly asked her if she would do it with me. She said yes. I have no idea why. We just did that event. She had a ton of fun. She was incredibly good at it, unbelievably good at being a navigator. So we just kept doing it. And here we are, 5 events later, 2 full Targas, 3 Bambinas, still competing, still married.
Killed each
Yes,
other.
still married. Close a few times, but you know.
Absolutely amazing. We were super close in clenching first place last year. Unfortunately, there was a rally incident, and because of the rules, we didn't win. But it's all about having fun, like making memories and being on the road with each other, and it's just, I love it.
You posted a video last night of the Brigus run last year with you calling out the calls. What was the reaction from the other teams?
I think the other teams studied that last night. I actually had a few teams come up to me today and say, hey, we watched your video multiple times last night and we got a lot of tips from you. So that's kind of, you know, that's an accomplishment to be actually respected in the industry. Like the rally racing industry is a very male-dominated sport. So being a female and being respected here, amazing.
She's the best navigator. People think I take her because she's simply my wife, but it's not the case. I'm too competitive for that. It's only the fact that she's, I'm going to say she's the best navigator here. I might be biased, but I think a lot of people think the same thing. So that's why we do this together, for the fun and to compete.
What can trees tell us? Well, a Munn professor says quite a lot. That story is coming up.
A spring-type setup as we welcome fall this weekend, with winds in from the north blowing in shower chances and drizzle, keeping temperatures cooler, milder along the south coast and into western Labrador. We'll break down your full weekend forecast coming up. CBC meteorologist Ryan Snodden in for Ashley this evening. Time to take a look at the weather forecast. And listen, it's feeling a lot more like fall out there than earlier in the week, that's for sure. High temperatures today, single digits, Nain to Makovic and down to the Cartwright region. And then, low double digits, low teens for the northern half of the island. Down to the south, it was definitely warmer with that northerly flow. Nicely shielded from that northerly flow is, of course, the south and west. And so, that's where temperatures were a little more toasty. Hot spot in the province, though, Labrador City at 20 degrees. And you can see the setup here. We've got this area of high pressure anchored over northern parts of the Labrador Sea. And as a result, we've also got this low spinning around over the North Atlantic. And between the high and the low, we're getting this northerly flow, which is keeping things much cooler, of course, as we said. It's also blowing in some drizzle and a couple of showers this afternoon, and that's going to really be the case over the next couple days as we're sandwiched between this high and this low. We're going to continue to see that northerly flow and some shower chances, and temperatures tonight are going to be dropping into the single digits for most of us, and we're going to be looking at some double digits hanging on from the Burin across the Ramia-Conegra into the Port Basque region. Single digits across the board in Labrador as well, down to just 2 in Nain, and it's getting awfully close to flurry territory there. Now, as we look at the forecast timeline moving forward, you can see there's the setup for tonight with that northerly flow driving in and across the island. And those shower chances will continue to linger for Saturday in those northerly winds blowing in. So chance for showers for most of the island, especially northern areas. And we are going to be seeing that cloud cover pretty stubborn. Despite this area of high pressure being so close, this low is just throwing so much moisture into the mix. It's going to be really hard for that high to do much good in terms of bringing us the warmth and the sun, although we will see some sunny breaks, no doubt, especially across the south coast again. There is that chance of showers pretty much for everybody on Saturday. Temperatures are going to be ranging between around 12 and 15 degrees. We'll see low double digits from the Straits up into the Happy Valley Goose Bay region, and once again, Labrador City, kind of on the outside of this dome, will be definitely looking at the warmest temperatures in the province. 18 degrees there with a bit of an easterly wind. Now, walking you through into Saturday night and Sunday, and you can see that low actually retrograding from east back to west, and so all kinds of moisture continuing to be in the mix for Sunday. More moisture, in fact, even than Saturday, and so a greater risk for showers on Sunday. Likely more cloud cover in the mix. Can't rule out a few sunny breaks, but it's definitely, especially into the afternoon, but expecting that the clouds are going to be pretty capped from St. John's up to Gander, Grand Falls, Windsor, and into the northern peninsula and southeastern parts of Labrador, including Happy Valley Goose Bay. The greatest chance for seeing some of that sunshine will be the Burin, back across to Port Basque and up into the Corner Brook region. Once again, Western Labrador, the place to be. High teens, maybe edging in towards the low 20 mark, and looking at a terrific Sunday in Lab West. That area of high pressure, again, still in the mix as we move into next week, and that low starting to move out just in time for the work week, though it is going to be slow to clear for eastern Newfoundland. Monday still looking cool and a bit cloudy and damp, and that's likely to carry through even into Tuesday, though greater chance for some sun breaking through Tuesday. Wednesday's looking certain that we'll finally see that pattern breaking down. Central Newfoundland, a similar story. Temperatures kind of rebounding into early next week, especially by mid next week when we're expecting to see that clear out. Western parts of Labrador, Western Newfoundland rather, looking at that chance for showers, again, decreasing through Monday with a brighter forecast Tuesday into Wednesday. And a similar story for eastern parts of Labrador, Happy Valley Goose Bay. Temperatures bumping up to around 18 degrees by Tuesday. And again, as mentioned throughout this forecast, Western Labrador, the place to be throughout the weekend and into early next week, riding that sunshine train right through till Tuesday with a chance of showers moving back into Lab West by Wednesday. That is your forecast now. Stokesy, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, Nature Newfoundland and Labrador wants people to branch out and tune into the information that trees are telling us. The group hosted a public talk yesterday evening at Memorial University in St. John's. Here Now's Arlette Lazarenko met up with Professor Carissa Brown to learn more.
I study trees as a way to understand how The natural environment is responding to things like climate change and fire and other kinds of global changes. And so in the public talk, I'm going to tell stories from about 10,000 years ago to present day to forecasting in the future, how trees can tell us about the changes we expect to see under climate change.
So why trees?
Trees actually record the history of the environment they've experienced. We might see rings with damage or even with burn scars, so we know that that year there was a fire or maybe there was a hurricane that ripped off part of the tree or did some other kinds of damage. So trees actually give us a real history of the place that they're growing. This is a great example of a tree that is telling us a story by the fact that it's growing here. This is an oak tree, which we don't find here as a native species, but it's doing really well here. This trunk right here is actually kind of dead and broken, and that could have been from one of the hurricanes that St. John's has experienced over the years. The oak tree is doing really well, and that tells us that it's suited to growing in the conditions here, but those acorns were just too heavy to make it over here naturally, so it took someone planting the tree for it to be here.
So speaking of human activity, I wonder, what can trees tell us about the changing environment, perhaps climate change?
With ongoing climate change, we do expect to see more forest fires across the boreal forest. Less so here on the island, but we still are expecting to see some increases. We had a little bit of a wake-up call a couple of years ago with the Central Fires Complex, just kind of reminding us here on the island of what a forest fire can mean for the communities and also the forest and barrens ecosystems around. So I think that's also something that we need to be looking towards and planning for in the future is what might it look like to have more forest fires here on the island, and forest fires that can't be suppressed right away but are burned for a number of days or weeks.
So people going to your talk, what is something that you want them to leave with?
I would love folks who come to my talk to leave it, go for a stroll the next day, and really start to look at the trees around them and think about what those stories those trees might be telling them. So why are those species of trees growing in that place? How long have they been there? How did they get there? And what that might tell us about our environment.
We'll just have a look at this. Just a few minutes ago, the UK Red Arrows flew over downtown St. John's, and boy, did they leave a colorful mark. This year, the Royal Canadian Air Force is marking 100 years being a distinct branch of the Canadian military. That was a fun, unexpected sight, especially if you were downtown walking around. Captured on our rooms camera here. We'll be right back. Well, what a week it's been at the American inquiry into the Titan tragedy. Allegations of reckless behavior from former employees, tales of malfunctions and mishaps along the way, even testimony from someone who helped send off the crew on that final deadly trip down to the Titanic. Here Now's Heather Gillis has been following it all.
When the Titan submersible imploded last summer, it didn't take long to hear about troubles at Ocean Gate. Now, during the first week of the U.S. Coast Guard's hearings, we're finding out how deep those troubles actually were. Here are some of the week's key moments. On the first day, we saw this animation showing Titan's last contact with the surface. About a half an hour before Titan imploded, they said they were all good. And just moments before it lost contact, they texted they had dropped 2 weights while at a depth of 3,346 meters underwater. The Coast Guard also released this video. It shows what was left of Titan on the seabed, about 300 meters off Titanic's bow, its tail sticking up from the sea floor, titanium rings and domes a little further away. The first witness was Tony Nissen. He was once Ocean Gate's director of engineering. He told the inquiry he wouldn't get in Titan, even with CEO Stockton Rush at the helm. And after Titan was hit by lightning in 2018, he refused to sign off on dives to the Titanic.
At that time, did you believe that the lightning strike affected the actual carbon fiber hull?
Yeah, I told Stockton and said that there's probably a good chance that that hull's compromised. For sure.
And what did he say?
It'll be okay.
Nissen testified he often disagreed with Rush, and when he stopped dives again in 2019 to the Titanic, he was fired. Next up on the stand, David Lockridge. He was Ocean Gate's director of marine operations. He testified he had no faith in Titan's engineering, calling it an abomination of a sub. So bad that you could shine light through parts of the first carbon hull. A submarine rescue expert and ex-UK Navy vet, Lockridge blew the whistle on Titan in 2019. He was fired too.
I'm never happy with any of the decisions that were potentially going into this project. That was pre and post manufacture of what was getting done. I was phased out completely.
And why do you believe you were phased out?
Because I embarrassed the CEO.
Embarrassed him because Lockridge says during a different dive, Rush slammed a different sub into a shipwreck, getting stuck, panicking.
We're stuck, we're stuck, we're stuck. Repeatedly, every time I went to take the controller from him, he pushed it further and further behind him, inside the submersible itself. This went on and on and on for a period of time. And eventually it took one of the paying clients to turn round, and Renata, who you're interviewing on Thursday, she shouted at Stockton to give me the effing controller.
Meanwhile, the mission specialist or paying customer, Renata Rojas, disputed Lockridge's version of events. Rojas has been on 7 dives with Ocean Gate. On the day of the implosion, Rojas was one of the last people to see the crew alive. She was there bagging up their personal belongings before they boarded Titan.
They were just very happy to go. And that's the memory I have. Nobody was really nervous. They were excited about what they're going to see, make sure you have your camera.
Meanwhile, another mission specialist or customer, Fred Hagen, told the inquiry today that Stockton Rush was a visionary, brilliant, someone who wanted to colonize the deep ocean. He testified once they got Titan stuck in the Titanic wreck, not a big deal, he says, because everyone knew there was risk.
anyone that felt safe going to depths in the Titan was deluded or delusional. I mean, it was an experimental vessel. It was clear that it was dangerous. It's kind of like jumping out of an airplane. I mean, you don't do it because it's safe. You do it because it's an adrenaline rush.
Next week, there'll be more testimony in South Carolina about what happened and why.
Well, staying with the sea, a recent shark encounter on the Northern Peninsula is prompting some to take a closer look at why the creatures may be creeping ever closer to the coastline. Freelance reporter Layla Baudouin has more.
Just like sandpaper you're touching.
Port Saunders-based fisherman Shannon Dobbin, like many around here, grew up on the water. And this poor beagle isn't the first shark he has seen.
Big what the ground sharks is out there. We have them almost length of the boat. Sometimes they're 25, 30 feet long. Great big ground sharks.
But Dobbin says something's different.
Well, you're seeing the sharks in closer to land and in around the harbours and that now. Before, you always see them out to the shore. Yeah, they always was around them since we've been fishing, but now they're in around the shorelines and around the harbours and that stuff. So the nets are side up on the water. We don't need a hauler or nothing for hauling here nets in outboard boats and shore water. We just haul them across the boat.
That's how Dobbin and his father came across this species, whose name originates from porpoise and beagle, out getting herring, bait for next year's lobster fishery.
Well, you're just hauling the net and hauling it, and you pick out a scatter herring or whatever, and you look over and say, "What's that?" And here it is, a shark. You got tangled up in the net and drowned.
Kind of like a human going to a buffet for sure, except for concentrated all in one spot.
Meet Nova Scotia-based Dr. Neil Hammerschlag, who gets up close and personal with sharks. He says fishing and sharks go hand in hand.
These sharks, they have excellent senses. They're looking for the smell of fish. They can detect very weak concentrations of the chemicals released by fish when they're dying or disturbed or stressed. The scales are coming off, all just pieces of DNA and all of that, and that's very attractive to sharks.
They're looking for food and adapting.
One of the main factors to increase sightings of sharks is warmer waters. One thing is, climate change is definitely real, and sharks are very sensitive to water temperature. It's probably the biggest factor influencing where they go,
which in this case means here.
Sightings are definitely increasing, and it's likely because for waters closer to shore are becoming warmer, where historically the warmer water was further offshore, and then also you have a situation where it's warmer here earlier in the year and it's staying warmer longer. So I think there's just the animals can spend more time here and probably are getting closer to shore within, proximity of where people can observe them.
Because even when they open up the mackerel there for the jigging, they're there for 4 or 5 days. Like there were sharks around, he comes and gets tangled up, takes your hooks, whatever. I mean, it's hard to even do any type of fishery now because the shark is there, batter you.
They're hungry.
They're hungry. Even when you sit your trawl for halibut, whatever, you're getting sharks on them. There's more sharks around.
Here's where that human-wildlife interaction gets tricky. Sharks can be a nuisance in the fishery, but they're also in trouble. And according to experts, although we're seeing more of them, what's happening beneath the ocean surface tells a different story.
We actually should be fearing more for sharks than being afraid of sharks, because shark numbers are dwindling, and we know that our healthy oceans rely on healthy shark populations.
Layla Baudouin, CBC News, Port Saunders.
Well, the federal NDP put the spotlight on the St. John's rental crisis this afternoon in Ottawa, saying corporate landlords have been given a leg up, and that's led to the city's serious rental property shortage. Here's how it played out on the floor of Parliament.
Today, rental vacancy rates in St. John's bottomed out at 1.5%. That means that even when doing everything right, people still can't find an affordable place to live. This housing disaster is happening because Liberals and Conservatives gave 1 million affordable rental homes to corporate landlords. And now the people of St. John's and everywhere in Canada are paying the price. Why are the Liberals, just like the Conservatives, not protecting Canadians from greedy corporate landlords?
Here. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communication and Communities.
It is very true, Madam Speaker, that rent is too expensive in this country. But what's incumbent on all federal parties, including the NDP, is to put forward a plan. The Conservatives don't have a plan, but neither does the NDP. What's our plan to help on rent? We've waived GST from the construction of apartments for lower income and middle class families and individuals. We put forward an acquisition fund to help not-for-profits purchase housing facilities to keep rent affordable. And we've invested in co-op housing, the single largest investment in the past 30 years. Where's the NDP on these issues?
Well, a beatboxer originally from St. John's is making waves on the other side of the country. Ben Bazion is the BC Beatboxing champion and lives in Vancouver these days. Ben sat down to talk about the skill with Weekend AM's Heather Barrett.
Human beatboxing is the art of replicating a drum or music with your mouth. Rhythmic sounds either with a group or on your own.
Now how did you get into it?
The easiest way to make a long story short is I saw a YouTube video in 2018 of a beatboxer named Codfish from Australia and decided this is what I wanted to do. This is a thing I wanted to learn and get really good at. But of course, then it led to many, many years of practice doing it all the time. Beatbox battles or beatbox championships are a really common way to bring the community together, bring everyone together. Everyone shows what they've been working on in a battle format. Beatboxing started through the hip hop culture and community in New York as a way to have drums for rapping when they couldn't afford a literal beatbox, a box that could make drum noises. So they got human beatboxes. And just like rap battles through hip hop, there are a lot of beatboxing battles. So people go back and forth. We all prepare sometimes in advance or improvise on the spot. There's a panel of judges who decide. And I've done many battles in different places over the years. And finally, last year in Vancouver, won the BC Championship, and then this year successfully defended and won a second time.
Can you give me a mini lesson now? Something really simple.
Absolutely. So the very common thing the thing almost everyone starts with is boots and cats. Have you heard of boots and cats before?
No.
So saying the phrase and repeating the phrase, boots and cats and boots and cats and
boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
And what you'll notice, incredible.
Oh my God, I did it.
Just by focusing on the consonant sounds, so isolating the boo, t, ca, t, you have your
boot, cat, boot, cat, boot, cat, boot, cat, boot. Okay.
There you go. Isolating those consonant sounds, really focusing on making them powerful, you'll have a full drum kit in no time.
Well, it's Friday, so let's find out who's celebrating. Cecil and Flora Newman of Upper Island Cove are celebrating 50 years of marriage today. Congratulations to Elizabeth and Ray Bone of Port aux Basques. Their 50th anniversary is tomorrow. Happy 60th anniversary to Winslow and Bernetta Snook of Sunnyside from family and friends. Wishing Jim and Bridget Welsh of Carbonear a happy 54th anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to Alfred and Cassie Martin, who have been married 54 years. Happy 59th anniversary to Mary and Jeremiah Osmond of Channel Port aux Basques. Best wishes to Goldie and John Coker of Gander Bay South. They're marking 50 years together. Happy 53rd anniversary to Gordon and Marguerite Hollett from Corner Brook. Wishing Rose and Al Kolubinski of Petty Harbor a very happy 52nd anniversary. Happy anniversary to Ralph and Ethel Hiscock. They're celebrating 53 years of marriage. Anniversary greetings going out to Wilfred and Elizabeth Boyden of St. Anthony. Their 70th anniversary is this Sunday. Congratulations to David and Susan Moss from Sandringham, who are celebrating their 60th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary also to Wilson and Marie Fry of Charleston, Bonavista Bay. Wishing Sid and Evelyn Butt in Mount Pearl a happy 61st anniversary. Happy 65th anniversary to Gerald and Hazel Newbury of Mount Pearl. Congratulations to Roland and Myrtle Hodder of Rock Harbor, who are celebrating their 55th anniversary today. Best wishes to Harry and Kay Smith in Placentia. They're marking 57 years together. Happy 61st anniversary today to Edmund and Shirley Rowe of Chance Cove. It's a golden anniversary for Leo and Geraldine Freeborn of St. John's. Bill and Sharon Main of Badger Lake are also celebrating 50 years of marriage. Happy 64th anniversary to Jean and Hector Earl of St. Lunaire Griquet. Congratulations to Douglas and Rosalind King of Bristol's Hope on their 60th anniversary. Wishing Roland and Jean Parsons of Carbonear a happy 55th anniversary. Happy 62nd anniversary to Clifford and Nina Wellen of Gander. John and Linda Dobbin of Markland are marking 58 years of marriage. Congratulations. Happy 55th anniversary today to Robert and Bonnie Coates of Glenwood. Congratulations to Patrick and Maureen Fian of St. John's on their 56th anniversary. Happy 56th anniversary also to Richard and Patricia Quilty of Fox Harbor. It's a 58th anniversary for Angus and Norma Vallis of Harbor Breton. Happy 59th anniversary to George and Gladys Chalk of Noggin Cove. Happy 56th anniversary to Alan and Bonnie Thomas in Clark's Beach. Anniversary greetings going out to Nish and May Berry. They've been married 52 years. Congratulations to Kevin and Amanda Everson of Torbay. They're also marking 52 years of marriage. Now to some birthdays. Happy 92nd birthday to Verna Bungie of St. John's. Love from family and friends. Happy 93rd birthday to Pearl Rousel of Robert's Arm, now in Grand Falls, Windsor. Wishing Goldie Rogers a happy birthday. She just turned 91. Happy birthday to Naomi Meadus in Paradise, who also is celebrating a 91st birthday. Happy birthday to Cease Murdoch, who just turned 90. Best wishes to Rodney Ford from Port aux Basques on his 93rd birthday. Happy 90th birthday to Fanny Badcock of Shearstown. Alice King of Grand Falls, Windsor is celebrating her 99th birthday this Sunday. Happy 90th birthday to Pearl Buckle of Forteau, Labrador. Jake Drover of Hodges Cove is celebrating his 90th birthday tomorrow in Clarenville. Happy 91st birthday to William Sharp of Upper Island Cove. Happy birthday to Annie O'Rourke from Admiral's Beach, now living in Paradise on her 93rd birthday. Bessie Bartlett of Kippens is celebrating her 90th birthday on Sunday. Birthday greetings going out to Ruby Hoban in Musgrave Harbor on her 90th birthday on Sunday. Happy 91st birthday tomorrow to Ernest Wheeler of Mount Pearl. He shares a birthday with two of his children, the oldest and the youngest, so lots to celebrate tomorrow. Happy 96th birthday to Hazel Chapman of Cannings Cove, now in Clarenville. Happy birthday to Teresa Bruce from St. John's, who will turn 97 tomorrow. And birthday greetings going out to Annie Harris, who is celebrating her 91st birthday today. Hope you have a wonderful birthday.
Time for another peek at your forecast on this Friday evening. Ryan Snodden in for Ashley. And yeah, let's have a look at Saturday, which looks, we've seen better, especially earlier this week, as fall really starting to push in. And of course, officially arriving on Sunday morning, but it's going to feel a whole lot like fall for tomorrow yet again, as it did today. Temperatures ranging between 12 and 15 degrees for most of the island, a little bit warmer down towards the Burin Peninsula, southern parts of the island, down towards St. Albans and Ramia-Conagra as well. You can see that temperatures will be warmest in western Labrador. There's this area of high pressure, again, almost overhead here, so the wind's lighter, an easterly wind in fact, but yes, a favorable wind, as opposed to here with the wind off the water, keeping temperatures cooler and that chance for some showers. Now for Sunday, we are going to be seeing, I think, the clouds fairly dominant yet again. St. John's back to central and up the northern peninsula and into southeastern parts of Labrador. Best chance for sun in this setup. This eerily looks like almost what we'd see in June, right? With this type of a flow from the north and the south and west coast, the place to be in terms of the best chance of sun and the least chance for seeing a shower. And it's all thanks to this low, which is just sitting and spinning over the North Atlantic and throwing that moisture into the mix. And despite that high kind of anchored over the Torngats, we are going to be looking at still in that northerly flow, the favorable setup for clouds and showers blowing in from north to south, and we're into that flow right throughout the weekend. Now that low will finally start to wander as we move back into the work week. And for Monday, it should start to wander off to the east, and you can see a little more favorable setup for some sunshine in the mix, though still a chance for showers in and along that Atlantic coastline into Monday and likely even into Tuesday before that high will finally start to take over with some sunshine moving back in all across the island by mid next week. That is your forecast to now. Have a great weekend. Carolyn, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan, and I hope you have a great weekend too. It's always nice when Ryan stops by to fill in for Ashley. Ashley should be back on the show on Monday. And before we go, just want to apologize to Wilfred and Elizabeth Boyd because I mispronounced your name during the anniversaries I noticed. Wilfred and Elizabeth are in St. Anthony, and their 70th anniversary is this Sunday, so that is quite the milestone. Congratulations once again. Well, that's it for us on this Friday evening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and you can join us again on Monday. Good night.